Detroit Lions fans, we're not only seeing a change in how this team is put together and in how they play, we're also seeing a change in how they're being viewed publicly. Are the Lions now going from the hated underdog to one of the most beloved teams in the NFL? Let's talk all about it and see right here on the DSN News Desk. What's good, Detroit Sports Nation? I am Eric Vincent, your host here at the DSN News Desk. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your time and support because Lions fans, we are truly seeing a change in the guard with this football team. And again, it's not just with how they're playing. It's not just how the front office is putting them together. We're seeing the NFL public throw all the roses and all the flowers at the feet of the Detroit Lions in a way that we've never seen before in our lifetime, because we're used to this team constantly having their back against the walls, constantly going at it with the league, constantly going at it with the officials. And now, out of nowhere, everything has changed with this team. Everybody cannot stop talking and showering praise and love for the Detroit Lions. Now, we deserve to, because we all have had our horror stories and our horror times as Lions fans. We've been through enough suffering to be able to celebrate good things when we see it. So coming off of a great free agency, coming off an awesome 9-7 year, especially when the back half was so impressive when they were in the heat of an NFC playoff picture run, seeing this team have the resources and the capital to put together something special with the draft, it's kind of impossible to be anything but excited for this team. That's for us. But for everybody else, it's extremely shocking to see all this love get showered over to the Lions right now. It really is. I'm looking online. Rich Eisen is up here talking about how he believes the Lions will win the NFC North and host a playoff game. Mel Kiper gave Brad Holmes an A for his draft history. We've seen odds makers in betting books put the Lions in the top 10 for the odds to win the Super Bowl. DraftKings was the most recent one I saw. NFL Twitter just had a top 10 compilation of how many great plays the Lions put together last season. I've never seen this kind of admiration for Detroit Lions football in my life. Now, I'm not going to complain. I do appreciate some of the respect and the admiration that's being given, because that's what comes with it. When you do good things, you get respect and admiration in return. What you also get in return is expectations. And that is going to be the biggest opponent for the Lions heading into this season, because it's easy to swoop in as the underdog. Now, granted, I don't know Dan Campbell personally. I've never been in the Lions locker room like that, but I'm willing to bet that they've sold the underdog card through a good portion of Brad Holmes' tenure and Dan Campbell's tenure as a head coach. I'm willing to bet that they preach on that. It's kind of different now with the teams in your division dropping and the bottom, I don't want to call them bottom feeders, but with the teams that ranked towards the bottom last season, these are the teams that are now rising up. The Lions are coming up. The Bears are making some moves, and the other teams now below them are on the way down. And you're looking as the favorite to win out in that division. You're expected to be one of the more impressive teams coming out of your conference. These expectations have to be met with the results that we are looking for. It may be important to temper them, because again, I don't believe the Lions are Super Bowl bound yet. I still think they have some areas that they have to address in the current state and for the future as well. Quarterback. Excuse me. Sorry, my allergies been acting up. But listen, I just believe that they have things that they need to keep addressing. They're not a finished product yet. They're still going through early stages of their rebuild, but they're close. They're close to getting there. I don't think they're at that point, but it's important for us to understand where they're headed. And when expectations are in front of you, the Lions have to be prepared for that. And using the underdog mantra may not cut it, but either way, I trust Dan Campbell to be able to put the right frame of mind in the mind of these players. He helped brought in some veteran players to help with that as well. They're not just toting out a bunch of young rookies as well, again, or second, third year players. They're bringing in guys who have postseason experience, that have been a part of winning cultures, and are just as hungry to get to postseason success as you are as a young franchise. So I think that helps a lot. Also, bringing back your coaching staff outside of Deuce Staley, keeping that continuity, bringing back some of the veterans that helped you get to the success you had last season. That's all extremely important in that building process. And I think they're doing a great job with that. I'm just nervous with what they're going to do in terms of having expectation in front of you now, because we expected watchable football last season. We expected to see growth from the young players, and we did. But I think now, I think now we're coming to a point where this team has to start living up to some pretty high expectations in the next few years. This team's not going to be able to just start off the way they did last season and then finish off hot and think, oh, it's okay, they'll get it back. We need to see this team hot from the start and finish on an even hotter note. That doesn't mean be perfect. You ain't got to be 16, 17 and 0. I'm not saying any of that. But they got to learn to put together some consistent football at this point. That's been a problem for this team. Excuse me, it's just on my throat. We've seen this be a problem with this football team in the past. We saw it last season, but I do think they are trending in the correct direction. And if we are as high on them as we believe they are, as well as the national media is as well, this is what comes with it. I believe they're capable. We just got to see it to believe it. But again, this is just interesting to see the national love that is being poured for one of the most hated and just talked about in not so positive way for the Detroit Lions. It's now changing. It's an interesting thing to see. But talk to me in the comment section. I'd love to hear your feedback. Do you believe the Lions are now turning the tide? Do you think they're still underdogs? Do you think they're stepping in as the favorites now in the NFC? Where do you see the Lions at in terms of what they've done so far this offseason? I'd love to hear your feedback in the comment section. Make sure you like the video as well and subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Trying to make our way to 7,000 subscribers, and we can make that happen with your support. We would greatly appreciate it. Tap in on our social media as well: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the above. Search and follow Detroit Sports Nation and lock in with me as well at I Am Eric Vincent. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you being here. Go Lions, and I'll see you again soon with another update right here from the DSN News Desk. Peace.